everyone. Coach Sullivan here again with MGS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, I thank you. And to those who haven't yet, I hope you do. I just finished my 38th year coaching football as a defensive coordinator. But during that time, I've also been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, as well as a longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. In today's presentation, what I want to talk to you about is something very, very significant in the game of football. How do you adapt to a structure change? So this presentation is the 3-4, what we call Bruin, which I'm going to get to shortly. It's a structure change going from 2 back to 1 back, okay, out of both our base, and I'm going to explain what that means, as well as our Plan B rotate tag. 2 different ways we adjust to a structure change, that being a running back motioning out of the backfield. And this is out of both 21 and 20 personnel, okay? So key terms, we're going to start with structure change. So here in New England, a standard home has a square foundation. Not all, but a standard, okay, what you call spec home. And an average foundation is 36 by 28, 36 feet by 28 feet. So the first floor is pretty much the same, right? 8 foot, right? It's the second ceiling. It's the second floor and then the roof that determines what kind of a house it is, or what kind of a structure, right? So in New England, a colonial, first floor 8 feet, second floor complete 8 feet, equal roof line front and back, colonial. But then if you want to make it a cape, the second floor is just a half wall with a much steeper roof line front and back. It's known as a cape. Okay? Another way you can do is what they call an extended cape. Half wall in the front, full wall in the back. So you got a steep front roof line in the front, regular roof line in the back, okay? So it's the second floor and the roof that determines what kind of house you have or structure. In football, however many backs you have in the backfield, right, behind the offensive line determines what kind of a structure it is, right? In this case, it's all going to be what we call a 2-back I, quarterback under center, just for simplicity. But a structure change in football is equivalent to, as an example, if you had a ranch house, 1 floor, you took the roof off, you added a complete second floor, equal roof line, you transformed it from a ranch to a colonial, right? So here we're going to talk about the offense comes out in the 2-back structure. When one of the backs motions out, it changes the structure to now a 1-back. And that's what we mean by structure change. And it applies, the analogy to a home and football, it applies, okay? So the base, what is meant by base? Everything we do in our 3-4 system emanates from the base, stems from the base, comes from the base, develops from the base, okay? And so we teach our kids, these are all part of what we call our base defense. And then we have things that emanate from that, but have different ways to adjust because it's not the same as the base. So that's what I'm going to get into with you here. One being what we call our rotate tag. So our base, right? Everything stems from this. Our base, we're going to give you a 2-high secondary against everything. 2 back, 1 back. It's not written up there, but empty. We're in base, we're giving you a 2-high look. With the numbers, the receiver number 2 is detached or not, you're getting a 2-high safety. 3 by 1, 2-high safety. Okay? So the reason we do that is because we see so much 1 back. And I'm going to guess you all do as well. Okay? So that's where we start. And we get all that implemented. And I'll finish the presentation with this in terms of how much time you should allot, okay? Once that's all installed, then we can start, all right, now here's our Plan B, what we call rotate, our means of adjusting and why we do it, okay? So because we're always going to give you a 2-high safety, that means we're going to also give you minimum box numbers. Because we're keeping two guys up high. That means we can't put as many down in the box. Okay, these two things correlate. So versus a two-back set, 21 to 20, the minimum number in the box will be 6. The maximum is 7. Versus a one-back, minimum is 5. Maximum is 6, right? So then our plan B adjustment is what we call rotate. So we have a person signals what offensive personnel we have, meaning is it 10, 11, is it 22, what have you. We got signboards, right, for our own packages to go with it. And then I signal everything, front, coverage, stunt, whatever we're doing. And then I clap. The kids know the call's done. That's it. Call. There's no more of the call. Clap signifies turn to the offense, get ready, right? When we're going to be in rotate mode, everything I've signaled up to that point allows our kids to adjust this way. So when I signal that, kids know, oh, we're in rotate. So that's what I'm going to show you here today, okay? Versus a Bruin structure change, going from two back to one back, as I explained, how we adjust in our base, and then how we adjust with the rotate. It's very, very simple for us, but it's an awful lot for an offense to try and prepare for. You got to have like 2 different, if not more, ways to prepare offensively for the 2 different ways, what I think are simple for us to adjust to this structure change, okay? So consequently, when we go into rotate, the adjustment, 2 back, we're going to give you a 2 high. This is what we say. Our structure mirrors their structure. So if they got 2, we got 2. If they got 1 back, we got 1 high. 2 back equals 2 high, 1 back equals 1 high. We're going to mirror their structure. So what I call our structure is our safety structure, right? So when you hear them take the top off the coverage, well, that's like taking the roof off. What do you got? The quarterbacks are taught. You got 2 high, you got 1 high, you got what they call 0, right? Nobody there in the middle of the field, high. Okay, those are the different structure looks. All right? So we say in rotate, our structure, our roof's going to match their roof, right? Be like the Joneses. So because we're willing to do that, we can get maximum box numbers. Oh. And it doesn't matter whether or not 2's detached, as you're going to see. So 2 back, it's going to be 7 in the box in rotate. Okay? Automatic going to have 7. 1 back, the minimum's going to be 6, the maximum's going to be 7, as you'll see. Okay? So this is huge. And these are the 2 different ways. So I call rotate before I even show it to you. When, as an example, we're expecting to have to stop the run, they might give you 1 back, but their tendency is, 72% of the time they're going to run the football. Then we're going to be in rotate. And then make them not run the football. And then we go back to base. You follow me? If you got terrible weather, driving rain, snow, wind, and it's tough for the offense to throw, then we're going to add a guy to the box and play with a 1 high safety. Okay, and we'll even do coverages to answer that question out of 2 back, and we'll screw a diag down and give you a 1 high safety in that situation. So we can do that as well, but that's a whole nother presentation, okay? So just simply how to adjust the base way we do it, the plan B rotate way we do it. Because what the part of this is, we're going to be in the same front, our base 3-4 front, and also play the same exact front with our rotate tag adjustment, okay? So before I get going, all the base are on the left, so 1, 3, 5, 7. The rotate tag adjustments on the right, 2, 4, 6, 8. Same front, same coverage call, okay? So it's going to be 50, gray 4. That'd be the base, 50, gray 4, rotate. It's exactly what it is. Okay? We ready to go? Woo! So over here in the 21 as well as over here, I have a motion to the right is always going to be the dash line. Motion to the left, this is obviously a back motion, Bruin, solid line. We get to the 20 in both, there's only one motion to get to 2x2 and one motion to get to 3x1. Dash line to the right, solid left, as you can see. And again, it's mirrored on both sides so you can see the two different ways that we adjust. I'm going to use red. I am not going to back up the secondary because in base, 2 back, corners are at 4, 1x4, safeties are at 8, either 2x or 1x. In 1 back, okay, again, base and rotate, corners are at 7, 1x7, the safeties are at 12. That could be 2x12, 1x12, or 12 in the middle, but they're at 12. Okay, and as we'll see with rotate, unless they have to be over a detached number 2. Okay, so I don't want to mess it up and keep drawing it every time because especially over here and over here, the two different solid and dashed, I'm not going to draw the secondary getting deeper. All right, so over here we go. It's I pro, I twin, I pro, I twin, I pro, I twin. The first one, I pro. Running back motions to the right. Bruin, 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 right? Back's running, the back's running, the back's running, meaning the back's in motion. Okay, we say rabbit when it's a receiver. Rabbit, receiver's running. Okay, Bruin, only time we use it is for the back motion. Just like the only time we use rabbit, receiver's in motion. So I'm not, every time it starts with Bruin. Bruin! The rule of thumb is very simple. Okay, when we're in base, if it's 2x2, the outside linebacker, in this case it's the dime, just detaches. Again, secondary backs up. Boom, done. That's easy, right? Balance, 2x2. Outside linebackers are on opposite sides of each other. Pretty simple. That's all we have to do. But now when we're going to motion, okay, over here, away from the open side to the two receiver side. So in other words, it's 3x1. You'll notice Texas is a rope, Topeka's a rope, Toledo's a rope. Here's the huge difference. In order to maintain our 2 high safety look, remember that's part of the base. We keep 2 high safeties versus everything. Now this necessitates a rope. So it's Bruin, rope, and there we are. We're in our 2 high safe structure. We don't run guys over. That doesn't make sense. What if he starts the motion here, stops, motions over here? You're going to keep running your guy back and forth? We just rope it. It's a lot less running. They can actually do it. They doesn't have to be full speed. They're not scrambling across and trying to run. And it's easy for them to do. So that's the base rope. Over here, again, we're going to get a Bruin call, but remember, we're going to mirror the structure. 2 back, 2 high. Goes 1 back. Two safeties adjust. Okay? 2 safeties. 2 safeties. And it always works out. You rotate in the direction of the running back motion. So the 2 safeties rotate in that direction. Rotates to 12. Back goes over here. Okay, again, we got 7 in the box, right? 1 back, 6 or 7. We got 7. Over here, we only got 6. Because remember, the maximum is going to be 6 to keep the 2 high. So that's why we do it. And here he's going to be 1x8 Ike. He's going to be at 12. Now we come over here. Going to motion to the Topeka, right? The T, rope. Same exact concept. Outside linebacker always goes into 3. That's consistent with Mac motion coming across. Could be jet sweep, jet read, right? Speed sweep, any of those. Outside linebacker comes in. He can immediately stop it. So that's just the consistent. So it's not changed. Free safety ropes over 2, screws down, ropes over. That's how we do it. Okay, got the 2 high safeties. Motions this way. He widens, and that's all that has to happen with the safeties and the corners backing up. That's it. Boom, done. Remember, 2 by 2. We're balanced. Outside linebackers on either side. So rope in the base over here, okay? He's already at 1 by 8 over number 2, right? 7 in the box. Okay, 2 back, 7 in the box. He doesn't have to move. He's going to rotate to the middle. There it is, done. Now, right, follow the rule. Motions this way. Well, the corner obviously has to widen. He's got a wide receiver out there. Safeties rotate with the back. So he now, in essence, replaces the corner at 2 by 2, and he rotates middle. There it is. Boom, done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's not really in the box. He's more detached outside. So he's in a chance to help out with potential for a speed option or anything like that. If they were to come out in Dallas, we wouldn't be in that. But that's to keep everything the same. That's how we would rotate it. He's not an 8th in the box, but it might look like it. Okay? Now we're over here, the 20 personnel. Remember, I said I'm only going to motion one direction because that's all you need. Motions to Detroit. There it is. Keep the 6 in the box. Remember, maximum 6 to 7. Oh, sorry. 5 in the box. Excuse me. Getting ahead. Right? He detaches. Everybody backs up. In the base way of doing it, we're stay balanced 2 by 2, right? That's it. He detaches, but now you only have 5 in the box. And eventually teams are going to test you. Can you stop the run with 5 in the box? And if you're struggling and you can't, so now you have to blitz, well, you might want to consider trying just a simple rotate tag. Because here's what happens with the rotate tag, right? You start off, you got 7 in the box. Back rotates, kids know. Now you got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the box. Okay? Kids know and rotate safeties, but that means he has to detach because his safety's leaving. He stays in the box. So for the outside backers, in that case, back's coming to me, I stay. Back's going away from me, I detach. And that's it. Okay, keep your too high look. Means you got minimum box numbers. Okay, you match the structure. So now they got 1 back, you got 1 high. You get to maximize your box numbers. So if they're testing and you can't stop the run, just do this before you start blitzing and everything else. Okay, I mean, that's it. Over here, right now the motion is to 3 receivers. So in base, we're going to be in a rope. To keep our too high look, right? But now we also only have 5 in the box, right? Remember, minimum box numbers could be 5. Well, in even numbered personnel, 20, that becomes a 10 formation, you're only going to have 5 in the box. You're going to keep you too high, but can you stop the run? And if the answer is yes, great. But here's plan B, right? Everybody with me? Okay. He's already 1 by 8 here. He's going to detach. He's going to be there. We got the 6 in the box. We got 1 by 8 over 2. He's going to be 1 by 7. He's going to detach with number 3. That's it. The difference is when it's a 3 by 1, The outside linebacker has to detach a little bit. All right, he has to. Okay. If you're not necessarily concerned, if number 3 isn't very wide, then you can keep him there. So it's a 7-man box. But then in coverage, the dime would have to get involved. Okay. So if that little tweak is too much for your kids to handle, then just keep them. Okay. One receiver, I think they can handle this. One receiver, there's nobody to detach to. There's no number 2. 3 receivers, that's the number 2 coming to you. So that's what pulls you out. I think your kids can handle that versus 2 detached, right? So that's how we teach it. I'm just telling you, if you're struggling with it or your kids are, that's the way you can possibly approach it with them. That's all. Yeah, but that's what we do there. So as you see, before I talk about how you implement all of this as far as time, how much time you allot and so forth, in our base, to keep our 2-high structure, we rope it when needed to 3x1 is a rope. 2x2, we don't have to. But that always will mean you have your minimum box numbers. Okay, you will have minimum box numbers. Okay, and again, I'll get to why we start with that in a second. Over here, you can't stop the run. You need maximum box numbers. That means you got to take one of the safeties out of that structure. Match what they get. If they got 2 backs, you can go 2 high. But if they got 1, you got 1, so you can get the maximum box number. Okay? So why we do this is because we see more pass than we do run. 11 personnel, 10 personnel, okay? 21, 20. So if we know a team's going to utilize Bruin, change the structure, then we're going to stay in base if they have a tendency they want to throw it. If we know they're going to use Bruin, and even when they go from 2 back to 1 back, they're still going to try and run it, we're going to go with rotate. And then during the course of the game, you always got to be prepared to do either one. Got to make adjustments. Okay? So as far as time goes, if it's a first-year program, I found you need at least 6 practices or days to implement in your base. Day 7, if they're ready or not, you got to start to introduce the rotate, and sometimes maybe that helps them with the base. If you're in year 2, and now all of this depends on the variables, how many kids are staying with you, continuity, 4-year players, etc. It now can knock down to 4 or 5 days in the base, and then it's either day 5 or 6. Introduce rotate. Year 3, again, considering the variables, day 3 or 4. So now day 4 or 5, you're introducing rotate tag, and by years 3, 4, 5, etc. Again, assuming the variables of keeping guys in your program, 3 days in base, day 4 you introduce the rotate, and then you just keep repping them both. All right. So that's how we adjust to structure changes. That's why we do it the way we do it. Okay. So again, to the people that are subscribers, I thank you. To those of you who are not, I hope you do. And to everyone, any questions, please reach out to me, CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com, because I would love to talk football with you.